Dusty shelves, their whispering tales. Silent voices in the night prevail. Pages torn but stories intact. Each spine a world that's expertly packed. History's ghosts rise from every page. Woven yarns from a bygone age. Golden mysteries with secrets tight. Agatha's plots in the candlelight. Turn the page, let the words flow. Through Austen's eyes, see hearts aglow. Secondhand magic, new worlds to chart. In this bookish heart we start.
Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. I got tagged in a couple of different Booktube tags, one or two last year and then one this year. And toward the end of last year, I was just struggling to keep up with my reading, and then I was trying to get videos of books that I finished out. And I do still have a couple of book review videos that I want to get done, but I'm not going to be able to get them done today. I did want to do one of my Booktube book tag challenges though, and I'm going to do the one from last year that I didn't get around to, which was the Booktube Makes Me Happy book tag. And this was, and I'm looking at my notes, which is why I'm glancing down. This was created by the Book Ponderer, and I was tagged by Gavin of Genre Books. Now, because I knew that I would forget the questions otherwise, I wrote them down. So there are 10 prompts. The first one is, what kind of Booktube content makes you feel good or gives you encouragement? So the ones that make me feel good, I guess because they give me encouragement as well, but I really enjoy the ones that talk about topics that, well, first of all, if they talk about books that I particularly enjoy, so if they talk about classics or history that make me want to go and search out that topic, those kind of things just kind of make me feel good and happy. Now, I also really get encouragement and just drive when I listen to channels that go a little bit deeper. Like they might not even be talking about a book they're reading right now, but about a concept. So I've watched videos that talk about why people aren't reading as much anymore, or ones on what people consider to be difficult books, about the average reading level. I've seen ones that I've joined about the way that the Victorian readers would take notes and how that would look in their books, and then also in their commonplace books. Those kind of things that are a little bit more off the beaten path, I do really enjoy. I don't tend to make a lot of those videos myself. I would enjoy doing more of those videos, but I don't always have the energy to do those sort of videos. And usually, if I really want to delve into a topic like that, I don't tend to plan that sort of thing. It's usually because I'm so fired up that I can't but share. I have to share this topic. But as much as I enjoy this sort of videos, I don't do them enough myself. And these kind of videos, when I see other people doing them, they make me want to do similarly, even though I don't always have the brain power or the drive to do so. Number 2, how has Booktube motivated you or encouraged you to do something you might not have done otherwise? The biggest way probably has been it has encouraged me to read about topics that I definitely would not have otherwise looked into. I definitely would not have read a book about the Johnstown flood or about the building of the Brooklyn Bridge, or even now the one I'm reading on the Panama Canal. But because I'm involved in the David McCullough read-along, I got involved with it because I wanted to read the biographies. But he has a very readable style and is very good about connecting you to the people involved. So I have been surprisingly enjoying the books on the topics that I never would have looked into myself. And also, Booktube has gotten me more into the classics. I always grew up reading the children's illustrated classics, but I hadn't really searched out more classics I hadn't previously been exposed to, especially after some of my reading dropped off after college. I only started up doing a lot of reading again when I started getting into history, but it took several years after nursing school. First of all, because I was getting adjusted to a very stressful job where I was learning a lot as I went, so I was tired a lot. And when I was reading, a lot of times it was stuff to improve me as a nurse. As I was experiencing things, I would go and look it up so I could know more and better approach certain situations next time I saw them, or at least better understand what I was running into. But once I got into Booktube, I started hearing about more classics and wanting to read them more. And so it's helped me rediscover a love of the classics and made me want to not only read adult forms of books that I had loved from the illustrated classics or had been familiar with from the illustrated classics. It made me want to discover more classics. I want to say I didn't discover Jane Austen's work until Booktube, but I'm not completely sure. I really don't know when I found Jane Austen first. But I do know that that Booktube led me to Elizabeth Gaskell, and led me even to reading the Brontes, which I had not necessarily, I really had no plan to read the Brontes prior. So I definitely have been inspired to read more in the way of classics. Number 3, how has Booktube inspired you to put more positivity into the world? This one, I don't know. The only thing I think was like it inspired me to speak positively my own opinions. I don't know what I mean. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm just spouting my own views for my own enjoyment and hopefully someone else's. I leave it to more bigger and more influential channels to insert something into the community. I just am enjoying being here. Okay, 4, what is your favorite comment to hear someone say about your channel? Now, I am a smaller channel, so I don't have a whole ton of people who are saying a ton of things about my channel. And that's absolutely fine. You know, as you grow as a channel, you're not only getting the positive comments, you are going to get the negative. That's just in the nature of the beast, especially when you are discussing things like books that include not only things like, well, it includes what you think about things, and people feel strongly about ideas expressed in books or about opinions about books, especially if they are cherished books and maybe you don't see the books in the same way that someone else does. Or if you're dealing with controversial topics in books, like in history books, you might make someone mad. So I absolutely understand with something like a Booktube channel, as you grow, you will get both kinds of attention. So yeah, I don't get talked about that much. I could take that, you know, I'm a smaller channel. But my favorite comment that I have gotten before is that I do put thought into the discussions that I have about the books on my channel. But I'm also always very happy when I can hear someone say that I've introduced them to a historical figure or even another book that they have not previously been familiar with. I had someone comment that I had introduced them to, actually I had a couple people mention they had not heard of Dr. Benjamin Rush before. And he was someone I had not been familiar with either before reading about him. And I was glad that I could introduce people to him because he is someone, or was someone, excuse me, that was a very interesting person who definitely did a lot during his time period to try to further medicine and mental health care at that time. So I was happy to introduce this man who left his mark, even though he oftentimes doesn't get remembered, even though he's a signer of the Declaration of Independence, good friend of John Adams and of Thomas Jefferson, and got them to talk to start talking again before his death, and then theirs. They outlived him by quite a decent amount because he basically got sick from caring for his patients, and that's what killed him. But yeah, so I'm always happy when I could introduce people to someone like a Dr. Benjamin Rush or to books that they might not have otherwise found, because I do sometimes find some niche interests that maybe wouldn't ordinarily come up in another channel. What are some unexpected happy surprises of Booktube? For me, even though it should seem to be obvious, it's the connections that I've made here on Booktube. I really didn't expect hardly anyone to watch my channel. I started the channel because, and I've mentioned this before, I was adding at the end of my mom and my YarnTube channel. After we would finish an episode, I would then go into what I was reading. I was adding as a new section, and we already were running an hour and a half long. And it was just lengthening the video too much. And I could tell that, and this happens even in person, I tend to go on and on when I mean, you guys watch my videos. If you're watching this, you watch my videos, you know I tend to go on and on when I get excited. And my mom and anyone who talks to me tends to get a bit glazed over. But I still wanted to discuss the books. So to spare everyone who has to occupy the same space as me, I decided that, okay, I will create a Booktube channel. At the very least, I can get it out of my system. And if I'm even the only one who gets any enjoyment out of it, that's cool. If someone else happens to wander on it and gets enjoyment out of it, that's just a bonus. So making connections here on Booktube was really a unexpected happy surprise for me. And I've really enjoyed communicating and sharing a love of books with these people I would have not, run into outside of Booktube. And okay, number 6, what is a positive outcome you've gotten from making videos? For me, it has given some structure to my day. I did not really hear about Booktube until after I became too disabled to work. And I'm sure people who are retired find this, but this is especially true when you are homebound, especially if there are points where you really can't do a lot without getting fatigued or overstimulated. You tend to lack structure in your day, and one day sort of flows into the other, and it's like it's kind of a blah way to live. And having Booktube and having Historathon kind of structure my year into quarters has been just really good for me. Having reading goals, it's just almost added a almost like the scheduling you'd have for school. It's put, like I said, structure to my day. It's given me something to do, that I'm learning, I'm intellectually stimulating myself, and I'm not just wasting time, which is so easy to do when you don't have a job or the ability to just leave the house. You don't realize how much nothing you can spend your time doing when you're stuck at home. People started getting an idea of this during COVID. And yeah, it just has been so nice to have that structure. Which booktubers make you laugh? Okay, everyone has their moments, but when I saw this question, two channels immediately came to mind. Book Zealots, love you, Ariane, but yeah, sometimes some of the things, it just makes me laugh. I know one point, one of the earlier videos I watched of you got frustrated with a book and you just slammed it down. It just cracked me up. Just things like that. And another thing is, okay, Gavin, genre books, your book tag videos always they make me smile. There's so much good humor in them, and I just thoroughly enjoy them every single time. So those are the two booktubers that came immediately to mind when I saw this question. 8, which booktubers warm your heart and make you feel all happy inside? Well, again, talking about Book Zealots, so yes. And I mentioned that one of the things that make me happy is when, well, first of all, I kind of feel at home with the channel. It feels like I'm dealing with a person that I would love to sit down and talk with. Then the other thing is they're talking about something I really enjoy. So there's Book Zealots. Then there's Tristan and the Classics. I love his videos about individual books, but about also when he goes into concepts about the classics. And these are just relaxing listens to me. Sometimes I don't even comment. I just enjoy listening to them, which is particularly good for migraine days. I enjoy Prose and Petticoats. She's another one who will go into concepts. I think the last video I watched of hers was the one that I was referring to about how the Victorians kept notes about their books and how they use commonplace books as well as leaving scraps of paper and notes. I recommend seeing the video. I really enjoy it. And I always am like, okay, I need to catch more of her videos, even though I'm constantly behind on Booktube. Carolyn Marie Reads is another one who I just feel comfortable with her channel. And some of it is, feeling comfortable with the person, and then also sometimes it's a matter of that person's voice being relaxing. And that's where Carolyn Marie Reads falls in as well. So those are some of the people that immediately come to mind for making me just sort of warm at heart and feeling all happy. 9, who are some of your favorite commenters who don't have their own channel? I think all of my commentators have their own channel. Pretty much all of them, at least the consistent ones. So I can't really answer more than that. Like I've mentioned, I'm a small channel, so I don't get a whole lot of people who, drop by, who comment, who are not booktubers. Sometimes I'll have some of my friends from my YarnTube channel who will stop by and say hi and comment on video, which is always great. But yeah, I can't think of anyone immediately to mind because most of the people who comment are fellow booktubers. 10, what is something new you can do? I thought I answered that question. I thought I could have answered that question. Okay, I guess I didn't. What is something new you can do to put more positive energy into Booktube? And I feel like I answered this question, but okay. I just want to continue talking about what I'm reading. I like to bring attention to books that, maybe other people haven't found, but I mean, chances are if I'm reading it, someone has found it. But yeah, I'd like to get that would be the kind of thing that I'd want to do is, if I run into a book that I think someone would enjoy, I'd like to introduce them to that book. But honestly, I'm just happy talking about the books I enjoy. Or if I don't enjoy the book, explaining quite passionately why I don't enjoy said book. But yeah, I'm not looking to, make a great impact on Booktube. This for me is fun. This is something that I can do to just share my love of books. And below the last channel I have, or last channel, wow. The last tag, sorry, I'm starting to get tired. The last prompt for this tag is tag fellow booktubers. Those names will be below. And if you feel called to respond, feel free to consider yourself tagged in this video. And also feel free to say what makes you happy about Booktube. I do see those videos where people talk about, why people are leaving Booktube and all the negative stuff about Booktube. But maybe it's the little corner of Booktube that I inhabit, but I haven't really run into the drama that apparently exists in other areas of Booktube. And I'm perfectly fine not knowing about that area of Booktube. But yeah, I think it's a great place. And if you want to share what about Booktube makes you happy, feel free to do so. Love to see your answers. Thank you very much for joining me. I will answer the other Booktube tag when I have those books with me, because it has to do with specific books that I am going to be reading this quarter or this year. And I don't have those books with me. So that'll be for another time. Thank you very much for joining me for this video. I hope that you have had a wonderful Christmas, that this new year, 2025, is a great year for you. Thank you very much for joining me. God bless.